Liberation greetings to all and sundry. Greetings to the people of the southern Cameroons. Greetings to all Ambalandas, wherever you are around the world. Today is Friday, and this day is the 25th day of April, the year 2025. I'm delighted to be here again for us to have some very quick update. And of course, as you will definitely notice, I'm in the localization and out of our studio, but this Sunday, we are going to have, a very, very important session. And this session is going to be addressing a teething issue in our community, which has been used by the enemy for several years, to try and rock our ability to take back our country. I'm sure that our people are paying careful attention to happenings around the world to understand that all over the world, the peoples are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that they protect the sovereignty of their countries. No country in the world right now is ready to cede its territory to another one. And that is not going to be the portion of the people of the Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia. I continue to see some people come out with fake arguments that have been debunked in the past, of claims of some kind of connections with some German Cameroon and all of those things, and all of that. I want to make this point very clearly. Very clearly, anytime someone comes up with that stupid argument of Cameroon just taking back part of its territory that was, cut off after the first World War, and which was part of German Cameroon, remind them that the first thing they need to do is reconstitute that German Cameroon that they claim. But most importantly, tell them that German Cameroon was never a nation state. This is going to be very clear, because when you take it from this premise, they understand that you know exactly what you're talking about. I'm saying this because I still see some people getting confused once in a while on this particular issue. Take note, the first nation states in Africa started happening in the late 50s, very late 50s and early 60s. And Cameroon, La République du Cameroun, became a nation state on the 1st of January 1960. This is something that everybody should know. At that time, it was just a patchwork of territories that were put together by the colonizers, and that they intended to, manage as protectorates until some time will come when they will determine to make them independent and become nation states. So therefore, German Cameroon was never ever a nation state, because it's simple. Ask the question: how was German Cameroon formed? When the German explorers came in, they started negotiating territories with the various chiefs. They talked with the chiefs of Douala. They went in places where people didn't want even to be part of, the German experience. They waged wars, and we have all read how Zingraft used some armies, some internal armies, to wage war on kingdoms or chiefdoms or fondoms that were resisting German presence. So this is something that we naturally should know. And so that lousy, stupid argument of it was just our territory that we were taking back, which had been cut off at some point, should never ever even be brought to any conversation table. So this is something that when someone brings up, dismiss it with immediate effect. Let it be very clear in everybody's mind. The events of April 21, 1961 should make it clear in everybody's mind that we were never ever one entity. Because if we were, the United Nations would never have held a vote for the independence of La République du Cameroun separately, and proclaimed the independence of La République du Cameroun on 1st of January 1960, and then come later on, hold an independence vote for the independence of the Southern Cameroons, and set the maturity date for the 1st of October 1961 separately. So people should know this. Listen, the plebiscite of 11th of February 1961 was only meant to let the people furnish the politicians with decision options to make upon achieving independence, because they had proposed that they wanted the Southern Cameroons to achieve independence by joining, which means you achieve your independence, then you join another already independent country. If they felt that we're just part of the territory of La République du Cameroun, that should just be handed back over to La République du Cameroun. First of all, they might not even have needed the plebiscite of February 11, 1961. And then, secondly, after holding the plebiscite of February 11, 1961, there would have been no need again holding an independence vote. So if you go to that understanding that a plebiscite is an intention, when people participate in a plebiscite, it's an intention that we will like to do this when that happens. That's what happens. So I think that I'm coming to this because a lot of people have sent me text messages. Some have sent comments from people telling them that, oh, that thing that Mba Akuro is saying there, no, that we have always, no. That's why when I even referred the people to an article written by the erudite, venerated international barrister at law, Professor, as you say, international barrister at law, I want to call him Professor, so I'm talking of Akeremuna. It is simply because I want that people should know that even if you hear Akerimona talking today, or he's candidate in La République du Cameroun, he wants to be candidate for president and all of those things, it is still because they are nursing that thought that perhaps for one reason or the other we could still want to have something to do with La République du Cameroun. The people of the Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, have the right to restore our territory, to take back our territory which has been stolen by La République du Cameroun in collaboration with Paris and London. This is what is at stake here. There are not two things that are at stake. This is absolutely what is at stake. What is happening here is some of us sit and think that international institutions or international legal experts should just come and rally around and say, no, let us go to the interpretation of Resolution 1608. And because it was clearly specified there, the Southern Cameroons, had a majority vote at the United Nations for its independence. Now, upon implementations, take note. Take note. In as much as there is an international order with international institutions meant to protect this order, don't forget that there is still that notion of might is right. Take it from me very clearly. There is still that notion of might is right operating on the international scene. La République du Cameroun is operating from the premise that the British surreptitiously, behind the scenes, offered the Southern Cameroons, offered us to the French as un petit cadeau de la reine. As if we were some sheep, some cattle, as if we were some goats that they could just pick and offer to the French. And in exchange, they were going to be silent while the French worked with La République du Cameroun to assimilate us, to become quietly citizens of La République du Cameroun. In the event where we never got up to revolt, to ask questions and all of those things, we would disappear inside La République du Cameroun. And that's why, to play over our intelligence and also to fool the rest of the world that something was being done, they tried now to go through. They say, okay, independence by joining. We first of all begin by having the two countries dissolve into a new country known as the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And then progressively, La République will use its population and use the fact that they are the majority, and gradually impose themselves on the Southern Cameroonians, absorb us, and someday we simply disappear. Like Paul Biya signed a decree in 1985 disappearing the Southern Cameroons. Because in the federal experience, we had the Federal Republic of Cameroon. Recall at that time, there was a flag, for the country with two stars, indicating that two entities came together. If we're just part of La République du Cameroon's territory being added, there would have been no need for La République du Cameroon dissolving its country, dissolving its state, to get into a new arrangement, getting a new flag that will have two stars, and then accepting to become a federated state, the federated state of East Cameroon. Look, folks, I take time often sometimes to respond to some of these things that may seem as trivialities, but they are not trivialities. Because there are some people in our midst that you take it for granted that they know, but the real truth, the reality is that they don't know. The reality is that they are not aware. The reality is that they are not informed. So this education, this sensitization is essential to get everybody on board. There are people who are actually part of this liberation movement, some of them sometimes, who can't really be able to settle down and articulate what this is all about. So settling down to give them the opportunity to understand exactly what transpired will help and will go a long way to getting them to really align, not only to become more convinced, but to be able to talk to people across the board who still have some doubts about what exactly this whole fight or struggle is about. So make no mistake, the Southern Cameroons had at no instant been part of the territory of La République du Cameroun. It had never happened. At no instant. Someone said, don't you think that the other map that was being, in the map that I showed in my last broadcast, that the other map that the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations was presenting to Pobia could have been the map of the British Northern Cameroons? No. The United Nations has no interest in presenting the map of British Northern Cameroons to the president of La République du Cameroun. No. They are interested in presenting the map of the British Southern Cameroons because that is the territory that La République du Cameroun is making lousy claims that they possess. Because that's the territory that supposedly came together with La République du Cameroun to form the Federal Republic of Cameroon, which later was changed to the United Republic of Cameroon in 1972, before Paul Biya went ahead and signed a decree and reverting to the Republic of Cameroon and seceding from the so-called union. And I keep reminding people, don't forget, justices at the Mezam High Court in Bamenda heard a matter brought before them by Fon Goji Dinka, who himself is a recognized jurist. Fon Goji Dinka sought or prayed the court to grant the prayer of the people of the Southern Cameroons to restore the independence of the Southern Cameroons, because La République du Cameroun, through Paul Biya's decree, taking back the country, that's reinstating La République du Cameroun, that disappeared in 1961, on the 1st of October 1961, reinstating it. He seceded from the union, and so therefore the Southern Cameroons too needed to reassert their independence, its independence. The Southern Cameroons too needed to reassert its independence, just like La République du Cameroun did its own. Because by that act in 1985, Paul Biya did not only secede, like people did not only secede from the union, they seceded and then turned around and annexed the Southern Cameroons. Those are the facts. Turned around and annexed the Southern Cameroons and started talking about some stupid kind of thing about one and indivisible. All those Southern Cameroonians who keep wanting to tell you, oh, we are one and indivisible, we are La République du Cameroun, let me tell you, 100% of them know that this is not the truth. 100% of them know that the facts are not with them. 100% of them are doing that because of pecuniary interests that they are getting in the current dispensation. 100% of them know pertinently that the Southern Cameroon's freedom will be achieved. They know. I say 100% of them. The only thing that about 3 or 4% of them don't know is how soon this will happen. So, my people of Amazonia, don't let anyone tell you some lousy monkey stories. That is why you see them, they are doing everything tooth and nail to try and place a wedge between the people of the southern Cameroons, hoping that by this divide and rule, they will be able to, prevail someday and keep us under total subjugation. I have said it here and I am repeating. The government of La République du Cameroon will never voluntarily go to an internationally mediated settlement or going for an internationally mediated settlement of the ongoing conflict in the southern Cameroons. The reason is simple. Because they know they have no claim, they have no legal claim to the territory of the southern Cameroons. They don't have. Because La République du Cameroon is a signatory to the OAU Charter and to the Uti Possiditis Juris Agreement, that the boundaries of all African countries, members of the then Organization of African Unity, which is now the African Union, that their boundaries were frozen at independence, which means therefore that their boundaries would only be those recognized on the day that they achieved independence. By the time La République du Cameroon achieved independence on the 1st of January 1961, Southern Cameroon was not part of its territory. And therefore, under international law, La République du Cameroon has no claim to our territory. That is why the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations handed to La République du Cameroon the real map of La République du Cameroon, as it was in 1960. And also handed the real map of the southern Cameroons as recognized in 1961. Why do you want something else to be told you? That is the main reason that when in Canada for the pre-talks, a document was signed by representatives of the Prime Minister's office of La République du Cameroun on behalf of La République du Cameroun, as was read on that document. And then on the other side, by representatives of the Southern Cameroons, represented by the 4 groups, movements, and organizations that were there. And it was established, therefore, that the next steps will be, having, because there would be a ceasefire first, a goodwill ceasefire as part of what you call the CBMs, that's confidence building measures. And then thereafter, we'll start getting meetings to start moving gradually towards the substantive negotiations. La République du Cameroon could not suffer that kind of document being published because it clearly established that these are 2 separate entities. But La République du Cameroon will want a situation where they keep giving the impression that this is an internal arrangement. La République pulled out quickly and started denying they even sent anybody there completely because they want to keep promoting and pushing the lie that they have been living for several decades. My dear people of Amazonia, we have to become very alert, and we have to share a lot of discussions like this ones to edify our people. We have to continue to educate our people on these truths so that we will continue to remain strong until we get to where we are intended to get to. This is why La République du Cameroon has not succeeded, not one time, in getting any entity around the world agree to their stupid assertions that we are terrorists. They know we are a people. Not only the Mezam High Court recognized the right of the people of the Southern Cameroons to reinvoke our independence after La République du Cameroon seceded, but even at the Human Rights Court, the African Human Rights Court in Banjul, 1989, the ruling clearly recognized that the people of the Southern Cameroons are a people under international law. And people recognized as a people under international law have an inalienable right. That is the right to self-determination. Tell them, anytime they try to come and play those monkey things and say those trashy things, don't hesitate to remind them this fundamental truth. I want to end this discussion here. I don't want to make it long because I want to make it easy for you to share out there, for people to watch it all the way to the end so that we continue to understand these notions very clearly. So thank you very much for your very kind attention. I will be right back on this platform. Thank you. Again, have a nice time and make sure you share this communication. To God be the glory.